Make sure you come out there and win, right? And that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Don't complain about what I'm doing. He got one style that he can do. I know what he's bringing. I know what he's coming with. He's coming straight in, coming straight ahead at me to throw non-stop punches. I'm levels above him because I know that I can do whatever I want. This is my weekend. I'm the best fighter in the world. And
with that being said, shoot, I think Shakur might be in trouble this weekend, man. He might get himself into trouble this weekend. Yeah. For attempted manslaughter, that's why. Got you. Yeah, got your behind. Attempted manslaughter. Man, Shakur about to pepper this boy up, boy. I'm telling you. He about to pepper his behind up. He gonna put the hot sauce.
Shakur Stevenson has been called words, from pillow hands to being told he jumps around like a grasshopper. Stevenson has heard it all. The undefeated lightweight has had his style criticized from every angle, often accused of being too safe or too boring. Yet 8 years into his pro career, he remains unbeaten, a world champion, and a problem no one has figured out. Many pros believe the real test comes from Zepeda, and they're already sure who wins the fight.
This fight simply comes down to me is, can Shakur get the respect of Zepeda to keep him off, keep the extension on his punches to limit Zepeda's output? Or is Zepeda's output going to lead to moments for Shakur Stevenson to have brilliant offensive opportunities where Zepeda's opening up? When this first fight was announced,
someone who's seen Stevenson work up close is Keyshawn Davis. The WBO lightweight champion trains alongside Stevenson and knows his mentality better than anyone. When asked about Stevenson's upcoming fight against William Zepeda, Keyshawn didn't hesitate. "Shakur's ready," he said. "I think Shakur is going to knock Zepeda out." Davis has stood beside Stevenson through both rise and criticism. He's not just backing his friend out of loyalty. He's seen how focused Stevenson has been in camp, how precise his sparring has looked. For Keyshawn, the knockout isn't just possible, it's expected.
so we facing off, and he seen me, he giving this like, this nice boy act, like he acting real nice. And then I see him look at the crowd and he put his hand up telling them like he gonna shut them up or something. So when he said that, I'm like, Panda, tell Zepeda, I'ma crush him. I'ma crush you. And I wanted him to know, like, I'm fucking this up, dog. Like, this he's a...
But not everyone sees it that way. Teofimo Lopez issued a quiet warning to Stevenson recently, commenting that unless Shakur lets his combinations flow, the fight could be a 50-by-50 fight. That's not coming from nowhere. Lopez has seen how Zepeda overwhelms his opponents with sheer output, not caring if he eats a few punches in return. The idea of a 50-50th fight might sound off to casual fans who see Stevenson as a generational talent, but anyone who's watched Zepeda tear through opponents with relentless pace understands the risk. Zepeda won't wait for permission to fight. He doesn't take breaks. He doesn't give space. He swarms. And for a fighter like Stevenson, who thrives in distance and control, that's a serious test.
12 for this particular showdown. And guess what, man? Shakur Stevenson, sharp puncher. Tremendous footwork, great defensive fighter. But would that work against a William Zepeda, who is a pressure fighter, come forward fighter, throws a lot of punches, but at times he slows down as the ring and the fight goes on. So
Zepeda is the type to make a boxer work every second of the round. You can't coast against him, you can't pot shot and expect the judges to favor finesse over sheer activity. He throws punches in bunches, often without worrying about the counter. And he has taken out solid boxers before. That makes the classic boxer versus puncher cliche more layered than usual. Because Zepeda's volume is so overwhelming, even great boxers like Jojo Diaz and Mercito Gesta couldn't slow him down. Shakur will have to be more than just slick. He'll have to be active. He'll have to win rounds with visible dominance, not just with clean counters and clever pivots. Greg Hackett, a seasoned trainer with sharp eyes, took a close look at Zepeda's recent performance against Tevin Farmer.
As for Zepeda versus Stevenson, this fight goes one or two ways, right? It's all based on ring size. If Shakur gets the bigger ring, the fight is in Shakur Stevenson's court. If Zepeda gets the smaller ring, the ball is in Zepeda's court. I favor whoever gets the ring size, because Shakur Stevenson ain't got the work rate to keep up with Zepeda. He ain't got the heart to keep up with Zepeda. Move too much. You ain't never seen him have a great output of punches in a fight. Yeah, that work rate is gonna kill him, bro. Shout out to Tev, because Tev got a tank. He showed that.
Farmer, a defensive fighter with speed and trickiness, gave Zepeda some trouble in spots, but Zepeda ultimately wore him down and found success. Hackett doesn't think Zepeda is on Stevenson's level, but he doesn't dismiss the threat. Shakur is a little quicker in the fight, a little better with the angles, and a sharper puncher than Tev and Farmer. Hackett told Mill City Boxing, Shakur has a way of neutralizing your style. He knows how to take things away from you, and he's a little more accurate than Tev, but Hackett also pointed out the obvious concern. If Shakur's hands break down on him against Zepeda, he'll be in serious trouble because he's not going to be able to run from this guy for 12 rounds like he did against Edwin De Los Santos. That fight against De Los Santos was a reminder that Stevenson's style isn't loved by all. He boxed safely, didn't take unnecessary risks, and fans walked away either admiring his discipline or questioning his aggression.
Shakur is an A-list fighter. William Zepeda is a B-list fighter. If you look at his last couple fights with Tevin Farmer not as slick as he used to be, but he dropped him. And that right there let me know Shakur is slick, so I know he's going to drop William Zepeda. They might stop the fight, I say 9th, 10th round. He's going to get that boy Thomas down, and then it's murder she wrote. He going to knock that boy face off. There's no disrespect, but it's just a fact. Yeah, y'all be hating on Shakur because he's not a knockout artist like Tank, but y'all got to stop comparing the two, man. Two different type of fighters. I love both of them as fighters, man.
Zepeda isn't going to allow that kind of fight. If Stevenson can't use both hands fully, or if he can't throw more than 1 or 2 punches at a time, he will be drowned out by Zepeda's sheer pace. Hackett doesn't think Zepeda can beat the top champions right now, but he doesn't rule out the possibility of Stevenson having to fight hard just to stay ahead on the cards. Zepeda isn't scared to take punches to land his own. If all Stevenson can do is run and throw to the body, it's not going to work against Zepeda, Hackett said plainly. A healthy Shakur may have big problems against Zepeda as well because he can't generate enough power or throw enough punches to win exchanges.
I have questions about William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson. Number one, can Shakur Stevenson do some of the things that Tevin Farmer did? Does he have the heart to stand in the pocket at times and let William Zepeda throw and look for counter opportunities? Or will he just simply use lateral movement and try to outpoint William Zepeda? Because that's not going to get Zepeda tired. That's not going to catch his attention. And will Zepeda be able to work against Shakur Stevenson and cut the...
Still, Stevenson's supporters point to his ring IQ and timing as equalizers. They argue that even though Shakur doesn't throw a lot, what he lands counts. His footwork forces opponents to reset. His jab keeps fighters out of rhythm. And most importantly, his ability to adapt mid-fight is unmatched at 135. Hackett did mention, not an easy fight, but he'll adjust to him in probably 3 rounds. And if Stevenson starts figuring Zepeda out early, that could be a wrap for the Mexican. He's never faced anyone who moves like Shakur or who calculates openings the way he does. Shakur's game isn't built on stopping guys. It's built on making them look like they don't belong in the ring with him.
I don't like swearing that much on this channel, but what a performance. Considering what Tevin Farmer did in his last 2 fights and who he did it against. Like William Zepeda in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, I thought he won. The second fight he went to Mexico and I thought he lost, but again, it was a really good performance against a top 5 lightweight. And then he fights Floyd Schofield, who, you know, has been a bit of hype around, but...
William Zepeda doesn't expect surprises from Shakur Stevenson. Asked about the upcoming fight, Zepeda described what most observers have already come to expect from Stevenson's performances. From what we've seen, he'll move throughout the ring, maintain himself at distance, but will have a good strategy. It's a summary that fits Stevenson's approach across most of his career. Control the space, limit exchanges, and neutralize opponents by staying out of danger. Against pressure fighters, Stevenson usually chooses the path of least resistance, using his feet and timing to win rounds without giving opponents a chance to create chaos. The record backs it up. Stevenson rarely gets drawn into shootouts. He dominates fights without needing to inflict much visible damage.
The fight is happening. Me versus William Zepeda. This is a guy who I feel as though been running from me for at least 2 to 3 years now, so it's good to finally get him in the ring and corner him in to where he ain't got no choice but to fight me. So it's gonna be a great fight.
And Turkey is the man that made this happen?
Yeah, you know, I think I was a big part of it, being that I gotta go through a lot of...
The most anyone's landed on Stevenson came during his fight with Oscar Valdez. That was a unification match, and one of the rare times Stevenson chose to stand closer and open up. According to CompuBox, Stevenson outlanded Valdez 189 to 110. He also threw 72 more punches. He clearly won the fight, but he took more hits than usual. That wasn't a mistake. He made a decision to be more offensive, and the trade-off was clear. It showed that when Stevenson gets aggressive, he gives up some of his advantage in defensive control. Valdez wasn't able to beat him, but he made Stevenson work harder and take more damage than usual. Against
a whole lot of punches coming at a guy who's a low volume puncher, counter puncher, accurate puncher, precise puncher, who's just not going to be able to get his shots off because the offense can be defense when you're a guy like Zepeda, and who's trained to throw up to 200 punches around. Let me tell you something, man. I don't care what you say. How the hell is Shakur Stevenson going to defend against a guy who's throwing 70 to 80 punches around, who's known to get into his rhythm and start throwing 100 punches around?
William Zepeda, Stevenson is not expected to make that same gamble. Zepeda carries an 81% knockout rate. His approach is pressure-based and aggressive. He doesn't wait. He throws in high volume and forces his opponents to react. When Stevenson faced Edwin de los Santos, who also brought power and aggression, his output dropped significantly. In fact, that fight saw Stevenson throw only 209 punches in 12 rounds, the lowest total of his career in a full-length bout. After the fight, he explained that an injury had affected his ability to engage, but the strategy aligned closely with what Zepeda expects: constant movement, distance, and limiting any kind of extended exchange.
Me gustaría pelear contra Shakur Stevenson. Creo que mi estilo de pelea y el estilo que él tiene se haría una muy buena pelea. Sabemos que Shakur es un poquito limitado en no arriesgar en las peleas, pero es lo que haría importante esta pelea, que yo iría como a buscarlo, él trataría de hacer su boxeo y creo que sería una muy buena pelea. Yo he pedido a Oscar que nos ponga o nos busque una pelea con Shakur. Ya se ha intentado eso, no se ha logrado por...
Zepeda believes he and his team will have the right plan to work around that. It's going to be a very interesting fight, a good fight, where our strategy will keep us afloat. He didn't offer details, but the adjustments are obvious. Zepeda will have to cut off the ring and close the space Stevenson depends on. He'll need to punch quickly and decisively whenever Stevenson enters the pocket. Stevenson's game is built around timing and exits. If Zepeda can stop him from moving freely, he might force him into uncomfortable situations. Zepeda has a slight reach advantage, just over an inch. If he can time his jab and control the center, he could turn the movement into a liability for Stevenson. Still, it will require perfect footwork and sustained output over 12 rounds. Stevenson's accuracy and ability to disappear from danger have shut down many aggressive fighters before they ever got started.
I ain't fight a style like Zepeda since the amateurs. So, being that I ain't see a style like that since the amateurs, it makes it more interesting for me. It makes it more fun just because it's something new, something different, and it sounds like a challenge. Thing with guys like that, you gotta beat the because you gotta realize, like, if you don't beat they gonna jump on you and they gonna stay on top of you the entire time. So you gotta go out there and get their respect. A lot of people...
Eddie Hearn sees this fight as more than a stylistic test. He views it as a moment for Stevenson to prove his star power. If he was from the UK, he would be what we call a national treasure, Hearn said. He would be a superstar, and he should be not just a superstar in boxing, but a superstar of American sport. He's 27 years of age, he's a 3-division world champion, and he's never broken a sweat. Hearn believes Stevenson's skill level deserves more attention than it currently gets. He agreed with Eric Gomez, who compared Stevenson to Floyd Mayweather, and expanded on it. I also put him with the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, Pernell Whitaker, all of the greats. This is how good this man is. But for greatness, you need a great opponent, and that is William Zepeda. This is the fight where Shakur Stevenson will show everybody how great and special he is. Stevenson has titles at 126, 130, and 135 pounds. He's shown complete dominance against multiple contenders across divisions, but many fans still question his approach.
I'll give him the slight edge over Shakur. 55-45.
Activity? Yeah.
It's just
I don't think
activity.
Shakur could hurt him.
I don't think Shakur can hurt him. I don't think Shakur's going to make him look amateurish in spots. He will, but I don't think those spots are going to be, I don't think he's going to do it enough.
Right.
I don't think he's going to have enough of that in him. And then there's going to be times where Zepeda is just all over Shakur. And
He's been criticized for playing it safe, especially against opponents like Edwin de los Santos, Artem Harutyunyan, and Robson Conceição. In each of those fights, he won cleanly, but the lack of offense left many feeling unsatisfied. The criticism isn't about the result, it's about the method. Stevenson's control often comes at the cost of entertainment. Against Zepeda, fans are hoping that pressure will force Stevenson to fight in a way that answers those criticisms. Sergio Mora, part of the DAZN broadcast team, said the challenge Zepeda faces is dealing with someone who makes everyone look bad. I don't think anyone looks good against Shakur Stevenson, Mora said. That's how brilliant he is. He's a master boxer, another southpaw, quick on his feet. Mora listed Stevenson's Olympic background, his ability to frustrate opponents, and his refusal to be drawn into brawls as key reasons why most fighters leave the ring with less confidence than they entered. He has that Olympic pedigree. He's a 2-division champion. He has everything you don't want to face in a fighter. It could be a headache, but Zepeda wants that smoke.
La Hoya's trying to lobby for a fight with William Zepeda.
Yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight, and it's dangerous for Shakur because Zepeda got that constant pressure. But at the same time, Shakur just got that style where it's hard to put hands on him. And if Shakur could just make that simple adjustment of dropping and countering at the same time and
Zepeda enters this fight with momentum. He recently secured a second win over Tevin Farmer in Cancun. It wasn't a knockout, but it was a clearer victory than the first time. Farmer proved to be a resilient opponent again, but Zepeda's volume, control, and pressure led to a majority decision. The fight helped reaffirm Zepeda's standing and kept him aligned for a shot at the full WBC title. While some observers had hoped for a more emphatic finish, Zepeda did enough to maintain his position and continue the path towards Stevenson. Mora used the Farmer fight to highlight Zepeda's consistency. He's not a one-dimensional fighter. His punch variety and commitment to pressure have worked against multiple styles. But even Mora made it clear that Stevenson is a different challenge.
Shakur Stevenson vows to punish Zepeda and step on him. Listen, bro. This feels the same as every other Shakur Stevenson build-up that I've ever seen. I've heard all of these terms before. Stepping on somebody, beating somebody up, knocking somebody out, right? Showing I'm the best, showing that it's level.
Nobody makes Zepeda-style pressure look ineffective the way Stevenson can. The problem for Zepeda will be getting started. Stevenson doesn't allow rhythm. He shuts down attempts to build momentum. Fighters who rely on output often find themselves waiting for openings that never come. Zepeda isn't counting on Stevenson to fall apart. He's preparing for 12 hard rounds, and he's made it clear that he doesn't expect an easy night. His success will depend on whether he can create chances early and make Stevenson uncomfortable enough to change the usual rhythm. If he can cut off the ring, land to the body, and make Stevenson stay longer than he wants to in range, the fight changes. But if Stevenson gets comfortable and starts landing his own shots while staying out of range, it could be another one-sided performance, even if it's not explosive.
Now, when we dealing with Shakur Stevenson, which is the co-main event, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda, I went and watched William Zepeda. William Zepeda is a non-stop, constantly throwing punches in your face the whole fight, the whole 12 rounds. His whole intent is to remain in your face, smothering, trying to wear you down.
There's no question that Stevenson is favored. He's undefeated, defensively elite, and has already beaten punchers and movers. But Zepeda brings something unique in the combination of southpaw pressure, volume, and confidence. His willingness to throw from any angle and overwhelm opponents could test Stevenson's ability to stay perfect for 12 rounds. Whether Stevenson opens up or stays in the same gear as his last few performances, the pressure from fans and critics will be there. Many are waiting to see if he can pair his skill with a dominant finish. Others just want to see how he handles an opponent who doesn't go away. Tevin Farmer's name came up again during the broadcast, as Mora suggested he could still be an attractive option for other contenders. Any of the division's other fighters need a champion on their resume, Mora said. I wouldn't mind Tevin Farmer fighting in another category, but he deserves another opportunity and another primetime slot on television. The Farmer discussion was separate, but it added context to Zepeda's level of recent competition. Beating a tough, experienced opponent like Farmer twice helps validate the climb towards someone like Stevenson.
I think early on it's gonna be like he's gonna try to make it a little difficult, but as time go on and Shakur figure out his rhythm, his pace and everything, I think it's gonna get bad for Zepeda.
Zepeda knows exactly what he's walking into. A fight against one of the most technically sound fighters in boxing. A fighter who doesn't give away rounds, doesn't take risks unless he has to, and rarely gets touched clean. The strategy Zepeda mentioned may remain private for now, but the objective is clear. Pressure, punch volume, and early control. If he lets Stevenson take over the pace, the rounds will slip away. If he can disrupt the tempo, the fight gets interesting. No one's managed to do it yet. July 12th will show if Zepeda can be the first. What do you think? Share your take below and subscribe for more updates.